Be strong.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Soul Man Surgery here on the 1st of February 2021. This morning we have got the very lovely Susan Watson, and we are going to be doing a live Q&A session talking about all things associated with well-being. So have your questions, ask away during the session, and we'll answer as much as we possibly can. We don't have a specific topic today, so this is your forum to ask everything that you want to ask to the lovely therapist that is Susan Watson. Good morning, Susan.
Hello, Stephen. Hello, and thank you again for asking me along. I'm freezing.
You're always very, very, very welcome.
Thank you.
So, how are you? First of
Doing
all,
all right. Doing really good, thank you.
good. So, Susan,
Yes.
today we are chatting. I'm just going to pop up your Susan from Perfect Solutions Coaching. For anybody who isn't aware of that, you should be, because Susan has been here doing Soul Man surgeries now for the last few months, actually. And Susan talks all about ways in which you can manage stress, self-regulation. We talk about the wet noodle as well, quite often. If Susan ever asks you to show you her wet noodle, she's just asking you to self-regulate, I promise. She talks about breathing techniques, how you hold your body. There is so much Susan does. So check out Susan's page as well. It is just coming up on the bottom of the screen there, her YouTube channel. Go on there, have a look at all the stuff that she does. She does lots of self-help videos. So there might be something in Susan's library of self-help that you can tap into. She also has a Facebook page as well. I'm throwing loads of information at you, but a Facebook page there as well, which is Healing a Broken Heart, and that helps you to deal with grief and emotional loss of any kind, really. And we also have as well, I have it here. Susan does a 5-day challenge on her Perfect Solutions Coaching Facebook page. So go and check Susan's stuff out. She's doing lots of amazing things there to help with your well-being for free as well through this lockdown. Obviously, she charges for her services one-to-one in a personal way, but she does do a lot of free stuff as well. I do apologise for the background noise. My children are in the room. Don't know if you can hear them. So, Mrs. Watson, happy in bulk to you as well, because it is today. We were speaking about this just before we came on, and how it's in bulk, the day of the quickening, I suppose, if you like to call it. And in bulk is all about starting new things. It's about planting seeds for the future, and it's the first signs of spring. So
I've never heard of this before, so I was really interested. I find it really interesting.
It's really interesting. It's something, for hundreds of years or thousands of years, we as a nation in Scotland, we celebrated in bulk, and it was something that was, we would come together as a family and we would all feast, which I'm quite happy to do tonight. I don't know about you. But we would feast and we would celebrate the dawning of spring. So it is quite an exciting festival, actually. And it's actually probably one of the lesser known ones as well, I think.
It's definitely not one I've ever heard about.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take a wee drink.
I'm just going to do a wee plug as well. If anybody is free at 12 o'clock today, midday, I'm going to be doing another soul man surgery, a bonus soul man surgery, where I'm going to be speaking all about in bulk and things that you can be doing with your family. You can be baking seed cakes, you can be making little dollies and stuffing them with crystals and that kind of stuff that will really help to bring in that new energy, that new year, that new season, I suppose. And these little dollies are called bridey dolls, just for anybody. Susan and I were looking at them before going, oh, they're really cool. So, anyway, I'm going to shut up because I feel like I've just blathered on for the last 5 minutes.
It's interesting though, Stephen. It's interesting. I'm sure a lot of people will be really interested in hearing more about that today.
Yeah. Lisa's saying there, I am going to have a look after this. Could you remind us of the page names, please, Stephen? I will. So Susan is Perfect Solutions Coaching on Facebook. There you go. She's running across the bottom of the screen at Perfect Solutions Coaching. You'll also find her on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, every social channel.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Then there's the Healing a Broken Heart as well.
And Healing a Broken Heart as well, yes. I'll pop that up on the page.
Which is really about all losses that we experience in life.
Yeah. So that's all up there for you. And you've also got Susan's YouTube channel at Perfect Solutions Coaching on YouTube. So guys, we welcome your questions this morning. Please do ask anything that you would like to ask Susan. I've just popped that up on the page for you, Lisa, so you should get it. There is a wee delay in this. There's about a 30-second delay. So any questions that you want to ask Susan, fire them away right now. Here is your opportunity.
I mean, I work with lots of different methods. I tend to work with people like emotions, trauma, anxiety, and grief. But I'm trained in lots of different methods and approaches that I'm happy to share what they are. That's why I put a post up earlier, listing a lot of the training that I've had to give people perhaps some ideas. I don't really know what these methods are, but they might want to ask questions.
Brilliant. Thank you. I'm distracted by the noise in the other room. I'm like, see kids.
They're not that bad, Stephen.
Wet noodle.
Yeah, wet noodle.
It's so easy though to get really stressed, isn't it, Susan? You know, when we're going through our daily lives. Something that my wife had said to me yesterday was, you know, like, you do all of this brilliant stuff, Stephen, but see at home, you're always really stressed and you tend to like bite at us. And she says, look at the year that you've had. You've had all this emotional stuff. You've had your granny passing. You've had all of that. And see when she'd highlighted that to me yesterday, I was like, actually, I am probably really grumpy when I'm at home and when the kids are there.
So my question to you would be, Stephen, what do you think you should be doing when you feel like that, when you're aware of that?
I should absolutely be dialing it down, but the thing is that I'm not always aware of it until after the event.
Right. So what have I always said? That you don't only dial it down in a wet noodle when you're feeling it, you should be doing it about 100 times a day. You make it part of your life to constantly relax your body, because by doing that, you don't go into toxic stress. So if you had been doing your wet noodle as many times a day as I said, you wouldn't be grumpy and you wouldn't be going into that heightened stress state. So now I know you're not doing it as often as you should.
Definitely not.
No.
I think it's really easy to, you know, think about it when we're doing these live sessions, and you know, when we go into life suppose, and you're not reminded of it, it's really easy to fall back into not dialing that stress down, isn't it?
The exercise, the relaxing itself is easy. The hardest bit is bringing it into your life and doing it continually. That's why I say, like, every minute you get, you've got to initially start doing it. Like, even as we're talking now, just relax your body. Because the minute you do that, you're dialing your stress down. And I know that's hard because we're not used to doing it. And you have to build up that habit of doing it. But the consequences or the reward of making that effort is you will live a calmer life without your stresses, your anxieties, your anger, all these sort of things.
Yeah.
So it's worth the effort. And even if at first you set your timer on your phone, like certain times during the day, just to remind you. I know it's an effort because there's lots of things that I know I should do because I'm trained. I tell people to do it, but do I do them all the time? Probably not. In fact, I know I don't because you've got to build up that regular habit to do it. So I'm just as bad as everybody else. But I do wet noodle. But that's because I really like just to relax my body. I've got that sort of a lazy streak that I like. I've always been somebody that's quite comfortable just to sort of flop. And I do that throughout the day all the time now. And I have to say, I am 100% much calmer person than I used to be. Because I used to just explode, be volatile. And I am not like that at all now. It's like, remember, if you relax your body and stay out that toxic stress, you can think clearer because your brain works.
Yeah.
If you're going into that anger and sort of reactive mode, your brain doesn't work. You're not thinking, you're just in a reactive mode. So I actually find I think a lot clearer now as well. Where if somebody says something which normally I would bite, press my button, now I just sort of think, oh, you know what, who cares?
It's so easy though to like fall into that trap of snapping, you know, like I would say 90% of the time I'm very chilled, but then there's that 10% I'm like, for fuck's sake, you know.
Well, that used, honest, I'm not lying because everybody knows me, knows that's my favourite word, right? That was me. That is how I used to be without a doubt. And I don't think I've been like that for quite a few years now. I might sometimes think off in my head, but I don't actually react. I just take a breath and I just think, so what? Do you know, it's not that important, let it go. But it's not like I'm going against and not speaking up. I'm not saying that. As if I feel that I have an opinion to share it, I will share it. But I do it in a much calmer, more constructive way.
I suppose you and I have an advantage where we're quite good at self-regulating, but again, it shows that, you know, like we are always, even people that do a lot of work on themselves, we are always human as well. So, you know, there's going to be that wee bit of us that reacts sometimes. And I think there's going to be a lot of people watching who are probably, you know, they react more than they would
It's
like
definitely self-regulating. I mean, I've got to say, I have a different environment for you now because all my kids have grown up and left home.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not got the stresses you have with children, busy households and all that round about me because now it's just me and Scott living together. And that's a very different environment than when I was living with the kids growing up because they're always fighting and screaming and all the rest of it. And that used to drive me crazy. So I guess in a way, it's difficult to compare the environment that I live in now to how I was when I was like, all the time. But I do wish I'd known now back then because I know that I wouldn't have been as shouty as I was. That's for sure.
I think that's an important thing to talk about as well, though, is that, you know, you can't compare yourself to other people, can you? Because there's, you know, we all live a very different reality. And I think sometimes when you look through social media and you see pictures of happy families out walking and, you know, like it's not always that in reality, is it?
Listen, I remember saying to my brother how happy my niece's children were, our boys were. They're always so calm and lovely smiles and everything in the photo. And what he says to me is, well, she doesn't put up the other ones. I mean, the screaming ones with the dirty faces and things like that. And that's exactly what people do. They build up this well, not everybody, but most people build up this picture of this happy, perfect life. And there is no such thing as a perfectly happy life. As in, we can have happy lives, but nothing's perfect all the time for anyone.
And we spoke about that last week, how, life it's about having these peaks and troughs when things feel great and then things will feel really down. And we're always trying to kind of find that equilibrium, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, I know that when I've sort of learned how to manage myself, if you like, because I used to have really bad anxiety and stress and all the rest of it, where when I feel myself getting a bit flat, it's not like I deny myself that, because there's a reason for that. So I give myself a window of what I call feeling sorry for myself, right, and reacting that. So I allow myself to feel like that. But what I don't allow is myself to stay in that place too long. Then what I do is what I call give myself a proverbial kick up the backside and say, right, come on, Susan, you've had enough of that. Let's move on and do something else. That works for me. I'm not saying it would work for everyone, but I don't think you should deny yourself your true feelings. You're entitled to feel that and to acknowledge them and recognise them, because your feelings are real. They're real to you. But if they're not healthy and they're not good for your well-being, you've got to take a bit of action to make things different.
Yeah. Because stress, it doesn't feel nice, does it? It feels horrible. I don't think anybody feels happy with stress.
I think the important thing to talk about that, though, people might not have really watched all the chats we've had, is that stress, everybody will have stress and everybody will have anxiety. It's absolutely normal. It's absolutely expected. That's part of being a human being. It only becomes a problem when you live in a constant state of stress and a constant state of anxiety. And you'll be seeing that as you'll have panic attacks, you'll be very angry, all these sort of things. These are signs potentially that your nervous system is overactivated with high levels of toxic stress. And actually, anger and panic and all these things are expected behaviours for a nervous system that is in that state, because they're surrounded by perceived threats. They're on that self-defence. The thing that you can do absolutely is what we talked about, is dial down, do the self-regulation to pull yourself out that toxic stress. And that is the way that you can naturally turn that down and switch off anger and switch off panic and stress. It takes practice, but it's so important. Remember, it's not in your head, it's in your body.
It's a good wee reminder for me today, actually, because I've got a lot of work to do today, as I shared with you earlier. And I think I woke up this morning like, I've got this work to do. And just thinking now, actually, Stephen, just dial it down. You'll get one thing done at a time and it'll all be good.
If you've got a high level of stress, your body will feel tight, your muscles will be tensed, because that's how your body reacts.
It's harder to focus when you're stressed as well, isn't it?
Well, your thinking brain switches off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's hard to learn. It's hard to make decisions. It's hard to pull information out your head if your brain's not functioning properly. And that's what stress does to you. So if you think of somebody in the workplace or sitting an exam or anything like that, learning and actually doing your job as a thinking job would be very difficult. There's high stress and anxiety.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to think about more in creating environments in the workplace or in school or whatever, an environment of calm rather than stress. And people will be much more productive, won't they?
Well, I'm going to do a wee plug on my other page here, just because you've brought it up.
Go for it.
Be your own hero, be your own empowered hero. That's another page that I have on Facebook. And it's another side of the work that I do. It's workshops for families, for children, for groups. I was doing workshops in the workplace. And this is what I looked on as a preventative measure. Because what this is all about, education. It's teaching people all these self-help tools so they can live that calm, healthier life before there's actually a problem. And that's a key bit, before there's a problem. Because what you normally find in the workplace is they've got wonderful occupational health, and they really are, and they have counsellors and all these things, but they tend not to step in until somebody's facing challenges and experiencing issues, where these workshops are all about stopping people getting to that stage, helping them look after themselves so that they won't need to go on and start to go off sick in the workplace. And that is important. That's important. I loved doing before lockdown, I used to do the workshops, and it was with children and parents. So it was having the parents and children in the room together, and they were all learning together. And that was really good fun. I loved doing that. So it's very playful too. So that was me plugging my page for my workshops.
Yeah. I think as managers and people that are working with groups of people as well, I think it's really important to think about how you react and how you interact with people as well, isn't it? I was an example of that as yesterday. So as you know, Susan, I've been doing loads of work on our academy because I'm in the middle of transferring it over to a new platform. So much work's went into that. I think for the last 9 days, I've been like 12 hours a day doing all of this work. And I was in a class last night and lots of people had cancelled for the next class. So I was getting text messages whilst I was in this class. And I could feel my stress going. And I almost posted a wee message on the page saying, just come, like, stop cancelling. I was almost to that point where I was so frustrated and I had to really think long and hard, right, think about this, Stephen. This is people in their lives. They've got other things going on. And I heard your voice saying, wet noodle it. So I done that. I went, is it really that important? Is it really that important to feel the stress of this situation? And it really helped me because I actually reacted to it very differently. But it's really easy to just go in an instant, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the workshops that I was talking about for the workplace, I think managers and that should do them as well. Yeah. People forget, they think it's for the frontline staff and that, but you know what? Managers really need support. Being a middle manager and a senior manager, it's really hard. It's a hard job, 2 people managing, and if you've got a manager that doesn't understand self-regulation and is feeling stressed, and trust me, a lot of managers feel really stressed and anxious, that they're taking that into meetings, and it's not intentional because it's the way our bodies work. Everybody starts feeling tense and we're reacting badly. And I just think it's something that we all need. I know the years that I was a manager, nobody ever taught me anything like this. And I wish I had known that then as well.
Yeah.
It would have made my job a lot easier. Well, more comfortable. I'll put it that way, more comfortable.
There's Richard from Tech IOSH talks about this. Richard's someone who he does like mental health stuff and the workshops and businesses. You know Richard actually, Susan. I'm sure you do. Do you? Gina's husband.
I have met him. Yeah, I have met him. Yeah, I don't really know him, but I've met him. Right.
Yeah. So Richard talks a lot about the 50% thing, where like 50% of, I'm sure it's 50%. You would need to check this with Richard. I'm sure that if he watches this back, he'll jump in and give you the actual facts. But 50% of people in the workplace are off because of stress-related illness. So being able to help and support that 50% of people in the workplace with stress-related illness would be a massive game changer to any workplace, any manager, any company, I suppose.
And a lot of people in the workplace don't say they're off with stress or anxiety. They'll say they're off with stomach upsets or headaches and migraines and all these sort of things, or the flu even, because they don't want to tell their workplace that they're off with stress and anxiety.
Gina's 55% it is. Yeah. Gina's obviously heard that, Richard.
Yeah. And I know I know that's right, because we had to have conversations on return to work and that to identify what was really going on, because people didn't want, because they felt then that they had a label in the workplace and it would maybe hold them back. And it's not that that was the case, it's just that people are very reluctant to share when it's stress and anxiety. It's a shame. People need help. Everybody needs help, actually, because it's a natural state.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just I'm trying to delete a comment and it's not working. Someone's sharing political views on there. Go away. Try to delete you, but I can't get rid of you. So the next thing that I think we should chat about, I think talking about stress in the workplace and all that is great, but I think
not just the workplace, it's in life. Let's talk about life.
Yeah, Lisa has asked a couple of questions here. I want to just throw them up. So Lisa is saying here, what's the best way to deal with stress and everything going on? I can't seem to wake. Not stressed, haven't even got out my head and I'm dreading the day already. Haven't even got in my bed, maybe.
Yeah. Right, Lisa. What happens is when you're really stressed and anxious and in that sort of way through the day, and you're not what we were talking about, self-regulating, when you go to sleep, your brain works harder, because your brain, when you're in a deep sleep, processes all these emotions and thoughts. So your brain's having to work harder and harder to try and clear it. So actually, you're waking up and you'll be actually exhausted. So it's not been a restful, peaceful sleep. I would say that, obviously I'm going to say it because I'm here, have a look at my YouTube site, because there's lots of videos on there to relieve stress and anxiety, and one of them is actually about early morning stress, about feeling like that and how to let it go. There's about 50 videos on there, maybe more than that now. Have a look through them. Definitely you'll find something in there. And you have to practice them and have to pick what seems right for you and really practice it, because you can turn down that stress and let it go if you keep doing the exercises that are on there. You'll sleep better, you'll feel better, you'll feel more refreshed and more energized.
Does that help, Lisa? She's also saying there as well, I've tried thinking positive, doesn't work. Tried getting up well before the kids to have a cuppa before they're up, not working. And so
Right.
all the time homeschooling my son's picking his 3 third-year subjects just now.
Right. Thinking positive's good, but if you're super stressed and your thinking brain's not working right, you're not going to think clearly, and it's not going to change what's going on, because stress is in your body, it's not in your head. What you need to do is your nervous system in your body reacts to stress and anxiety, and if it's not managed and turned down, it'll increase and go into what we call toxic stress, in which case you won't think clearly. You'll be on hypervigilance, you'll be feeling really anxious, really pressured, really panicky, all these things. And that's why I'm saying you have to do these exercises, what I'm calling self-regulation, but what they actually are is ways to turn off and switch off stress. One of the, I'll just show you, like the wet noodle that Stephen was doing, that's fully and completely having a full relaxed muscle body. So every muscle in your body is relaxed. That dials down that stress. If you do it for 1 second, it dials down the stress. Stay relaxed for 8 to 10 seconds, your thinking brain comes back on. Yes, the stress level is going to come back up again, but what happens is as soon as you relax your body again, it dials it down. And what you're doing is you're completely, if you keep doing that throughout the day, you're lowering the stress levels. Do your breathing. Stephen, you want to do the hand behind your head breathing? Can you remember that? And push your elbows back. And what you do is you just breathe. Now, what that does is it takes the belly breaths right down and it actually calms. Just do that for a couple of minutes and it calms your stress levels down too. The important thing, Lisa, for you is that you need to change the breaths and the body to calm your stress down. And find all these methods here, but Stephen's just demonstrated lovely the wet noodle and the breathing. It does work. It does work, but you have to keep doing it.
It really stretches at your back, which is really good as well.
It opens up your rib cage and allows the breath to go right down.
I think that's really easy. You know, it's a really easy tip, because when you're in that stress, you could just sit on the couch and, you know, you don't even have to think positively. You just do it, don't you?
The important thing is people think that changing anxiety is all in their mind, how they're thinking. It's not. It's changing the function in the body. That makes a key difference.
Does that help, Lisa? I hope so.
I hope so too. It does help, though. You have to practice it, but it does help.
Yeah. I think the wet noodle as well, I think that's a really, you know, for anybody who is maybe watching and thinking, what are they talking about with this wet noodle? That's just really just letting your body flop, isn't it, Susan?
Yeah. What we call it the wet noodle. So imagine a plate of cooked spaghetti and you've picked it up and you just flop it and it just goes sploosh on a plate. That's why we call it the wet noodle. That's what you want to do to your body. And remember, anxiety tends to go round people because our motor neurons in our body pick up on other people who are anxious. So do it as a family. Little kids love it. You've got little kids, make it into a game. Come on, let's wet noodle. Because you know what? You're teaching them at a young age to self-regulate and look after their well-being too. And that's really important. Really important. Make it fun. And I think Stephen's went to sleep.
I did. It is really fun though. It's when I do it with my kids, it makes a big difference to them. They always feel really good as a result of it, which is great.
And there's things that you can do even just to calm a body, because when you feel really stressed and really anxious, you're not feeling safe. It's because you've got perceived threats. Your mind and body's believing there's danger. So what you want to do is make yourself feel safer. It can even just be a hand on your chest and a hand on your stomach, and just sitting down and actually breathing and feeling that hand on your chest and stomach. Or the one I like is crossing my hands onto my shoulder. That gives me a very safe feeling. Or some people like the two hands on their heart. All the time you would be breathing slowly. And what you're doing is because you've got senses, if you like, in your body. Your body is feeling unsafe as well. And what you're doing is you're helping your body calm down. You're helping your body feel really safe. But it's not all in your mind, it's in your body. So that's a really good thing to be able to do as well. And there's videos on that as well on my YouTube channel, showing you how to do that. It changes your emotions, it changes your mood, calms the mind and body down.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Lisa was saying it in the night, waking up really anxious. I think I've talked about this before. I sometimes wake up anxious in the morning. Not so much now, but it does occasionally happen. And what I just do is I just do that and lie on my side. And it's like you're giving yourself a hug, actually. But it really switches off my anxiety and I just go right back to sleep. And I know that's an aftermath of 40 years of anxiety just sort of hanging about. But the point is, it's a natural way to feel. It's the managing it that's important. And for me, I know that that switches off. That's important.
Sorry, Susan. I'm just I've got a couple of messages there from people saying that we're getting hijacked.
Are we?
I don't know why.
I've never been hijacked before.
No, it's great fun. How good is this?
Well, if it's somebody hijacking you by putting lots of comments that are unwelcome, in the comments. The good thing about that is it boosts your social media and your videos will go even further. So thanks, folks.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. 1 second. I'm just trying to fix it.
I'll talk a wee bit while Stephen's doing that about some of the methods that I use. Right, I use eye movement therapies. Very good for releasing unhelpful emotions, memories, trauma, simply just by connecting with that and doing eye movements. I use what's called flash therapy, which is bilateral stimulation. So it's using the left and right side of the body, which actually separates trauma from the event, the emotion that's linked. So very quickly can make people feel better with that too. It actually looks very playful, but actually it's really helpful. It makes a difference. Hypnotherapist, and because I do so many different things. I can't remember them. So if anybody's ever looked at the list that I put down, Ho'oponopono, I sort of merge all my therapies actually. I don't particularly stick to one method in a session. I tend to draw them in and blend them. And more recently, I've been working with colours, which I really like the colours, how they influence your mind and behaviours. Yeah, so I've got lots of different things, lots of different approaches. And I enjoy the things that I do. I like working with emotions and trauma. I think probably because I've experienced all these things in my own life. And I know that they work because everything that I use, I've used on myself and I know what it actually feels like. So and I know that it can make a difference to people's lives, that people don't have to live with the things that are actually holding them back. Change is possible for everyone. You still busy there, Stephen?
I think I've sorted it. I hope. Diane, we will not be calling that number at any rate. I can't see what the comments are. I can't see anything. All I can see is the people who are part of our community talking, but I can't see anything negative. So I do apologise if you are getting spammed, guys. What I would say is just ignore it.
Yeah.
Just focus on what we're talking about.
Yeah. And just remember, whatever they're posting is pushing us up on the social media. That we'll get more people watching us.
Click that report button or that ban button or whatever you can do. Just click the button to get rid of them. Lisa's saying there as well. That's our comments came back up good. So Lisa, that might work for me as I do love a cuddle and feel so much better after I get a cuddle.
Really, it really does work, Lisa. Because remember, cuddling releases positive hormones into your body. So that can be cuddling another person, it can be cuddling an animal, even cuddling a pillow will still release these positive hormones into your body. And by doing that, it is cuddling, and your body feels like it's getting a cuddling, and it starts to feel better. It really does. It's just trying different things out to find out what works for you. And you will find what works for you. You can do
it. Lisa is asking, what's your YouTube, Stephen? So I'll just pop that up on the page. It is... Where are you?
Perfect Solutions Coaching. It's certainly worth a look. I deliberately put these videos up there so that people can learn to use these methods at home. I'm very strong and I believe in self-help. Even when people come to me for sessions and appointments, I teach people how to do it themselves so that can actually go away and they know how to do that self-care. Because you might feel really safe and comfortable in a nice little therapy room with me, but when you go back in normal life and normal life stresses and anxieties happen, which they will because that's life, to know how to do these tools are really effective. That's why it's important that people learn how to do them.
And Susan, if you're thinking about, you know, what we've spoke about there, the whole wet noodle approach, all of that exciting stuff that's going on there, that you're doing with people, you know, that whole like dialing down stress. What would your top tips be to people that, you know, find it really, really difficult to remember dialing down stress?
There's a bit, that sounds brutal, right? But that's just how I am. There's a bit of self-responsibility there, right? If
Mm-hmm.
your life is feeling like hell, under pressure, fearful, and doesn't feel safe, at the end of the day, I can share with you how to change that. And I can give you the tools to change it. But only you are the one. You have to do it. You have to practice it. That's why I was saying put like maybe an alarm every hour on your phone or something. It's something like that, and that'll just be your reminder just to do it. Because your brain has to develop that habit that it becomes part of your life. So only you can do that. It's really important. And I know that I've been told, oh, Susan, you're really brutal, because I'm always saying you've got to be responsible for your own well-being. But it's true. It is true. You want to make a big change in your life. People like myself can help you on your journey, but really, you've got to take that action yourself. But the rewards are well worth the effort. Yeah.
Brilliant, fantastic. I'm trying to see everybody's comments, and it's really hard to see their comments.
Remember visualization as well, Lisa, or anybody else that's watching it. 5 minutes in your bed just to really visualize yourself having a day that you want. I think I've touched on that in other recordings. That can really help because your mind believes everything you tell it and everything you imagine. The minute you tell yourself you're having a bad day, you're right, you are. As soon as you tell yourself having a good day, your mind's looking for the good stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, where you put your attention and energy to, that's what you get. Your mind starts to cut out all the good stuff. Your mind can only take in I think it's about 7 to 8 bits of information at one time. So if you're focusing your energy on the things that might go wrong, that part of your mind's going to ignore all the good stuff and bring in 7 to 8 bits of all the stuff that aren't too great. Because it filters, your mind filters what it is you're actually looking for.
Marina is saying there, Susan is brutal. She gets the job done.
Marina, I'm brutally. I'm so honest with people. I just go. Marina is actually a wonderful therapist who does the same as me, but she actually works in Beer and Hero workshops with me. We run them together. So she's allowed to call me brutal. She's seen me. With the best intentions, though.
Stephanie saying, amazing. Have you got anything on helping to sleep? I'm struggling so much with it.
What I would say to you, Stephanie, is send me a private message and I'll give you a lovely, relaxing recording that you can listen to, that you'll just drift off to sleep, because everybody does. It's my boring voice.
Not at all.
But it works. I give it to a lot of people to get to sleep when they do fall asleep with it. And I share it free of charge, so I'm happy to give you that. Just send me a message.
That's funny. Absolutely. Always with the best intentions, Marina.
That's true, though.
Lisa, Stephen, you should start meditation again at night. That honestly worked wonders. So I'm not doing meditation at night, and only purely and simply you'll be able to get meditations on our YouTube channel. But equally, I've just done a whole load of training with lots of my new meditation teachers, and it would be wrong of me to deliver free meditation when these guys are all having paid classes. So, you know, there is lots of free content on our YouTube channel. So please go over there, have a wee look at that, and hopefully it'll help you. Or you can speak to one of my new meditation teachers and they will be able to give you access to one of their amazing classes, which are very cheap, pocket money. don't know if that helps, but can you see the point in that, Susan? Where like if I'm,
Yeah.
I don't want to be delivering free meditation, and honestly, I'm really, really busy as well. I've got
Yeah.
so much going on right now.
Do you know what? There's
On you go, Susan. Say that before I pop that comment up.
I got a flash of it. I think it was a tapping.
Kelly's saying whenever I'm stressed, which isn't much, I use the tapping video that you sent me, Susan.
Yeah.
So what is the tapping?
The tapping video it's on my YouTube channel again, and it's me using emotional freedom techniques. So it's tapping different parts of your body on the meridians to release stress, anxiety, and just relax you and let it go. It's really good for whatever emotion. It tends now to be my go-to when I get, I don't know, everybody else thinks it's annoying me or just having a bad day or I'm feeling a bit cheesed off or whatever. I don't want that feeling. I recognise that it's not a good feeling or it's not helpful for me, and I just tap that away. Mm-hmm. And you've had some tapping, Stephen?
I have. Would you like to demonstrate?
No. Do you want me to talk you through how to do it?
You can talk me through it and I will demonstrate.
You would acknowledge or feel. I'll do the short version of it on you, right?
Okay.
You'd recognise the emotion or feeling that you have, and you would rate its strength between 1 and 10. 10 being high, 1 being low. So you've got sort of the gist of where it is. And I'll do the faster version. So you tap your eyebrow, begin your eyebrow. No, along a bit, down the other side of your eyebrow, that's it. Even I'll just take my glasses off. There, at the start of your eyebrow.
All right, okay.
Yeah. And you just think about that feeling, and all you're saying is, I'm just releasing it and letting it go. Just releasing it and letting it go. Then at the bone at the side of your eye, just right in the corner of your eye. That's it. I'm just releasing it and letting it go. And then you move to under your eye, bone under your eye.
I'm joking.
And then you go under your nose. I'm just releasing it all and letting it go. Then your chin, letting it go. Then what I do at the end of that is I hold my wrist right in front of the bones, just hold it firmly and tightly. And I would just close my eyes for 30 seconds. I would just say peace and really focus on what peace is. What I do is I go to a white sand, what I call it a Caribbean beach with beautiful water, white sandy beach, and I'm sitting myself on a big rock, just staring out at the waves. Now, I've never been to the Caribbean, so God knows where that came from, but in my mind, that's my Caribbean beach. And that really just removes it. Maybe a couple of rounds of that. What I would say is I ask you to hold in front of the bones so that you're holding the same spot all the time. And whatever your peaceful places or peaceful thoughts are, have the same ones every time you do that, because you're building a relationship up with your mind and that, an anchor, so that as soon as you do that, your mind thinks, yeah, that's peace. Then what happens is, because you've got that, you could be anywhere. You could be out in the supermarket or with family or in the workplace. If you're starting to feel a bit stressed, all you do is hold your wrist, and you can have your wrist in your lap. As soon as you hold it, your mind's like, that's peace, and starts to calm down. Yes, Diane, I'm using the wrist as my anchor. By pressing on that same spot all the time. You could do it for anything. It could be confidence. It could be for like a powerful feeling. Yeah, I like the butterfly hug. That's what Gina's talking about there. That's really good. It's very comforting.
And what is the butterfly thing? Just to go over that for anybody that might have missed it.
The butterfly hug, again, it's on my YouTube channel, but what it was initially was for trauma. And trauma teams going into national disasters and that used to use this on children and anybody else, but it worked really good on children as well. And it's any unwanted emotions. What you do is you cross your hands like that, put the heel of your hand in the middle of your chest, so your fingers are on your collarbone. And all you do is you close your eyes and acknowledge the feeling. This is about not pushing feelings away. And then you just tap back and forward so that your hand's pressing each time on the collarbone. And what you'll find, there's also meridians there in your collarbone. You're actually starting to release that unwanted emotion and you'll start to feel calmer. With kids, what you can do is sit them on your knee so they lie back on you, and you can just do that on children. I know that's something Marina uses as well.
I've done that technique with Noah. I've done it with Theo, and
He swore, eh?
I love that. And I've done it with Noah, and he told me.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's really good for wee kids as well, though. Like wee toddlers and things like that.
Yeah, doesn't work for everybody though, so I think it's finding what works for you, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, not. I think everything. No matter what you try, nobody will find that the same thing is effective. It is finding what's right for you.
Yeah.
Feedback.
Sorry, did you?
Yeah. Right, so Marina says she loves all these techniques. I know that she uses them too. They work really well and they're really calming. And do you know what? The most important thing is they're simple. There's nothing complicated there. So that, because if you think you've got somebody stressed and anxious, the last thing they want is to be given some really complicated methods and technique to use. You can't think, you just can't do it. So if you keep it simple, people will be more inclined to do it and get the benefit from it.
Do you know one thing that I really like to do, and I don't know if it's an actual technique in dealing with stress, but if I feel stressed, I like to go a drive and I park my car in the middle of nowhere. Well, I don't park it in the middle of nowhere, but I drive to a remote place and I open the windows and I scream.
Do you know what though? Remember, stress is energy. Right? Stress is energy in your body. It's too much energy, and your body's releasing adrenaline as well. So actually, by doing that and screaming, you're finding a way which suits you to release all that excess energy and calm you down. So all I would say is good for you. Well done. If it helps you, do it. That's why you get people to use punch bags and punch pillows and things like that, because it's all a way of releasing energy and stress.
I'd went up to, have you heard of Cairn Papel? It's one of the ancient burial sites in West Lothian. Anyway, it's well worth a visit. It's a tiny wee hill, but it's worth a visit when it's open because you can go down and have a wee look inside. Anyway, I was up at Cairn Papel because that's a place where I like to go and just let go of stuff. And I'd stood up on the top of Cairn Papel Hill. There was nobody else there. There was no cars parked, and I was like, screaming, and turned around, and there was a guy sitting eating. I don't know if I can even tell you. There's a guy sitting there eating. He ate his sandwich with his flask of tea.
Did he say anything to you?
He just looks at me like. So I just, like I was.
Just walk away.
And I knew you were there. I ran back into the car. It's really funny. I thought I would share that with you.
That's funny.
There you go. Diane said I thought I was the only nutter that did that, Stephen. Did somebody catch you doing it though? That's the thing. Debbie, I'm gonna go Google. Susan Wilson, I can just imagine.
I would say that. Do you know what? If it makes you feel good, do it.
Yeah, it does make you feel good though, like that whole just releasing the energy. I would say make sure that there's nobody around when you're doing it, or have your car windows up or whatever. But yeah, it was really funny. Poor wee man sitting there, his corned beef sandwich and his flask of tea, like.
I'm probably a bit tamer, and I always go to music. Always go to music, sing and dance.
Music,
isn't
it? It's a great way of dialing stress down, isn't it?
Remember your vagus nerves in your ear. So by listening to music, it connects with your vagus nerve, which then calms your nervous system down. contributes to calming your nervous system down.
And we spoke about that in the last few surgeries as well, didn't we? About the whole, you know, how you can change your day by just listening to a bit of music that really uplifts or changes you. And with, you know, for me and you, it's Imagine Dragons or something else. But, you know, other people like different pieces of music. So it might be classical music that floats your boat or whatever it is. But I think the important thing is find what you like and play it, and it lifts and alters your mood.
Definitely lifts my spirits. I listen to music every morning before I start work. Even just for 5-10 minutes, it just changes and gets me ready for just getting on with it.
Our wee Soul Man and Soul Man surgery thing, see this, where is it? Every single day when we're doing the Soul Man surgery, I dance to this. Be strong. I sit there, be strong, dude. Behind the camera, I'm like, yeah, because it really gets you going. So, Diane, it definitely helps me. I think Susan's methods are more.
Maybe so, Diane, maybe so. Maybe not as much fun though, eh? I think I need to go up that wee hill and start screaming and see what it feels like. That would quite appeal to me, actually.
You should. We should all do it, actually. We should start screaming therapy.
Yeah. I think there probably is something like that somewhere, actually.
Yeah. Have you ever had laughing yoga?
No. But laughing yoga is really good for you.
Oh, laughing yoga is so good. A friend of mine does it, and Ad's joined in on our live feed, and it is basically just and you facilitate the laughter first, and then the laughter actually becomes laughter.
Well, if you think of that, I don't know if you'll know what I'm talking about. Years and years and years ago, there was something called the laughing policeman, and all it was somebody laughing, right? But the minute you hear it, you start laughing too, because laughter is really infectious. Plus, even if you're doing it with a fake laugh, like pretend laughing, your body will still react as if it's a true laugh, and you'll start to get all these good feelings. And a fake laugh will eventually move into a real laugh, and you'll feel so much better.
Our friend Saj does this thing, laughter cream. So if you're ever around Saj, she'll say, right, come on, we need to get the laughter cream out. So Susan, I want you to try it, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, you need to try it, right? So put your hand out like this, and in your hand is your little pot of laughter cream. All right?
I'm laughing already.
Now, what I want you to do is take a bit of that cream and put it onto your face.
I feel a right arse.
See, the first time she done it with me, I was like, really? And then it just, you know, it done what we've just done there. We've started laughing, and it's lifted our mood. So, you know, it feels silly and it feels stupid, but it really does make you start laughing.
Do you know what? I like that. I like that. And it sounds like maybe a strange thing. I would use that with kids. When kids come to see me, I would use that with them, because I think that would really work well with kids.
So get your tub of laughter cream out, and you know I've done it with a little empty container, you know, like an old like cream jar, and just got them to like put their hand in it. It does. It changes the energy.
Yes.
Lisa is saying there, to chill me out, to get me happy, I just put on YouTube and blast the tunes from the 90s.
Great, Lisa. Absolutely great.
Do a form of breathing that sounds like scream in Tai Chi. And Diane is saying, I bet everyone is at least smiling now.
He's all sitting putting your laughter cream on.
So yeah, that's us, Susan. That's us. Time already.
I know. There we go.
I have to say a huge, big, massive thank you to Gina, because Gina is one of the admin on the Soul Man and Friends page, so she was able to go in whilst we were live and do all the work to get rid of the spammers.
Thank you, Gina.
I think they were like telling people to phone numbers and all the rest of it. I don't know what was happening, but I don't see it here on the screen.
Yeah.
Good laugh though. I'm sure they all had a good giggle at it. So guys, remember, do go and follow Susan's page. Check it out. Perfect Solutions Coaching on Facebook, and obviously running down the bottom there is Susan's YouTube channel for any videos which will give you hints, tips and advice. Susan also does private consultations as well. So, you know, as much as Susan gives a lot of her time freely, which I think is something that is second to none. Every single therapist on the planet should give free time, as well as, because the free time is what brings people to your business, Susan, isn't it? You know, so
yeah. No, it is, but it's, do you know what? I get a lot of people leaving on like Facebook private messaging me, who in that moment are really needing something.
Yeah.
And it's in that moment that I would then give them something to help them through that time. There's no charge for that, and because sometimes people can't wait for an appointment. There might be just that second that they're saying, you know what, I just need to speak to somebody now.
Yeah. And that wonderful exchange of energy, you know, if Susan is someone that you would like to work with in the future, she does do lots of stuff at the shop. She's also adding colour therapy to her services as well, which is dead exciting. I don't know if she's doing it at the shop, but I'll be making sure she does bring it to the shop.
Yeah.
At least for me.
I'll be doing colour acupuncture at the shop as well.
Cool.
It's called colour puncture or picture or something. It's really good. It's the same as on the meridians, the same as you would do acupuncture, but it's a coloured light. It's really interesting, actually. It's sucking me right into it. I love it.
Amazing. So yeah, all of that stuff there, Susan is doing at the shop when we can finally be open after our long extended holiday that we're all having. So have a great day, everybody. If you are interested in coming along at 12 o'clock, I will be back here at 12 o'clock and we'll be speaking all about all of the things that you can do. It's completely jumped out of my head there.
The quickening. That's what it is.
The
I don't know.
La Fiebriade is what
Yeah.
it's called. I know the Gaelic for it. God, my mind has went completely blank. That is terrible.
Now we're all really laughing.
I can't in bulk. So yeah, I'll be back. It's great when you don't even know what you're even talking about, is it? So I'll be back at 12 o'clock talking all about in bulk. So see you guys at 12, and Susan, I will see you on Friday. And for everybody else, I will see you guys this afternoon, but we'll also see you back again tomorrow with Kenny, and we're going to be talking all about weight loss, about fitness, about all of that stuff again tomorrow with Kenny. So take care. I shall see you all later on today. And Susan, stick around for a couple of minutes. I know you've got a client, so I'm going to be really, really quick. But see you all later, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.